organization. Remind me of my time. So I'm going to start with a question for everyone here. Does anybody know, just give me a guess, I'll give you the answer afterwards. Do you know how many weeks an average person lives if they lived up to the age of 80? How many weeks is that?
Of course not.
Nobody wants to give a number, any kind of number of how much time that is from being born up to the age of 80?
I ain't
1,000.
got a clue.
Okay, I got somebody that says 1,000. Anyone else that wants to give it a try?
I would, but I can't do the math right now. But I'd say multiply 7. Wait a minute, by 80?
Yeah, so the average, if you live to be of the average age of 80, how many
100.
weeks would you live?
100.
I think
Is that right?
Yeah.
50 times 80. 50 times 8. 5 times 8 is what? 400. Maybe 500?
8,500?
No,
No.
I don't think that's right. I think it's
50 times 80. 50
Yes.
times 8.
there'd be
There's
52
times
weeks.
80.
No, it's
Yes.
52 weeks times 80 is 4,160 hours.
Nope, weeks.
You always
So,
got to have a
weeks,
smart
weeks.
person.
And you got it.
Weeks.
Yeah, got it. So yes, for average is about 4,000 weeks for the average person to live if they live up to the age of 80. And that brings us to Psalms 39, 4-5. Yahuwah, make me to know my end and the measure of my days, what it is that I may know how frail I am. Behold, thou hast made my days as a handbreadth, and my age is as nothing before thee. Verily, every man at his best day is altogether vanity. Selah.
Yes.
So
that's
what
one
does,
of my- Teach me to number my days.
teach me to number my days. Remind me of my time, of the seasons that pass. And what this is going into is you only have so much time in a day, in a month, in a year that literally, if you actually truly look at it, time management is an illusion of control over one's finitude existence. Finitude means very limited existence. So time management is just our attempt to try to take control over something that you cannot control. So we have task orientation versus time management. So the difference between this is, as I was saying, when it comes to time management, is just the illusion of control of us having to try to compulsively plan to try to control our future and try to figure out what is going to happen tomorrow and try to plan for that. But the thing about it is that the rhythm and seasons of life emerge organically rather than from being lined up against an abstract timeline. So the thing about it is that kind of like the saying I said in one of our prior classes, it's like when we try to make plans, the Most High laughs at us. Because that may be our plan, but it's not his plan. And how many times has anybody here, and you can just take yourself off mute if you like, how many people here had a plan for the day or the week or the month and it just got totally derailed?
Me
All the time.
Yeah.
continuously
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah, literally that's like
all day.
every day. And that's one of the things that you have to take into for task orientation versus time management. And it's just going back to the last class of Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything, there's a season, and to every time there's a purpose under the heavens. It's
Yep.
better to know what season you're in and actually outline a task that needs to be completed than trying to manage it in time increments. Because you can't control time. If, okay, today I got to make sure I pay rent, that's a task orientation. If you're like, oh, I'm going to put 15 minutes aside somewhere to pay rent, you most likely are not going to try to make that 15 minutes because you'll end up filling it with something. So the whole point with task orientation versus time management is you only have a limited amount of time. Instead of seeing it as there's not enough time in a day, you should be actually asking if the demands made on your time is unreasonable. And
Quite often they are unreasonable.
yeah, especially when you work in a job. Because
Absolutely.
how many people here have become very efficient at their job to the point where the boss is like, "Oh, you got everything done. Let me add more work to you as your prize."
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And you were
That's
doing
what
this
happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me when they gave me that promotion.
I love doing that to us.
Yeah, they're not going to give it to the person who is slow or taking their time while completing the task. They're going to give it to the person who hurry up and finish their work, who's trying to get off on time, be like, "Oh, wait, you still have an hour left, but you have all this veritable time because you finished everything. So let me add on to it." Even though the task they usually give you, it's not going to be done in an hour.
Of course.
Exactly.
A lot
Of
has happened in there before. But one of the things is doing with that is being able to push back and be more task oriented than time management. And I know for the society that is actually very difficult because the society is so obsessed with time management, saying that every minute of every hour for your whole entire day should be planned out and you should be able to stick to that schedule. But everyone here has already said that's been impossible. I have planned before and it has become completely derailed. So does time management actually exist?
No,
No,
So one of our things is that we have been raised to prioritize future benefits over current enjoyment. So does anybody want to take a whack at that one? What does that mean? Raised to prioritize future benefits over current enjoyment.
Yeah. A lot of people, they always planning, trying to look forward instead of learning how to enjoy today because tomorrow's not playing for you. So you have to,
It
I
ain't
guess
promised.
for me, I plan for the future, but if I die today, I am okay. I guess I'll be okay anyway. But I don't want to. I want to live my life to the fullest.
Exactly.
Within my moral boundaries.
yeah, I'm a prime example of do what needs to be done first and then you rest. And then you find out you don't sit down and rest because something's always added on.
Yep.
You can get caught up and you never get caught up. You could clean up the whole house. By the time you clean it up, it's time to go back around again, or
Yep.
whatever, even with
well,
work.
you got the nerve right there.
Yeah. So
You sure?
Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed.
and you be like, I don't have any rest. I haven't rest. And then you realize you didn't rest because you prioritize working and getting things done compared to enjoying some life. And then something,
That I'm no prime example of that. This past Friday, I used flex time to clean downstairs. And it's really
What about that
ain't even got
saying,
no stairs.
"Well, now stop and smell the roses or the flowers"? Stop. Just stop and smell them. That's and whatever you're smelling the roses could be. It could be an actual rose or flower, or you could just sit back and pick up your feet or something that you enjoy doing.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like actually having leisure time to stop and think instead of planning compulsively for our turners on how to like confront how little control you actually have over the future. But that's how the society has raised us into thinking, oh, you have to keep on thinking, oh, I'll get to it someday. But someday is not going to come. All you have guaranteed is today, this moment. So what do you do with that?
Exactly.
but that's
Live it
why
to the fullest.
I'm so thankful for the Sabbath. Once I learned what that was and started doing it, I be waiting on Friday sundown. I
Yes.
Oh, you ain't
Yeah,
said nothing
yes.
but a word.
Yes. 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 I think you mentioned it last week, one of the ladies about feeling penalized. You got all this vacation time or whatever, they give you vacation time, and then you feel taking it. There's such ostracizing or whatever if you take it. And for this Sunday is okay, you need to take that time, but you don't take it, but you need to, regardless of what they
Right.
say. They don't give you the time.
They give you the time, but they don't want you to take it.
That's true.
And in your
Yeah.
mind, you're thinking too, and this is about to raise the priorities, to prioritize the future benefits over current enjoyments. You rather save that time. I probably gonna need it later on. I can build it all up and everything, and then who say you gonna be able to use that time?
True.
Some companies will not let you either have to use your PTO time in a certain amount of time or you lose it.
Or
There's
you
some
lose it.
companies,
Right.
Yeah,
There's a lot of companies like that.
My company's like that.
when you get back to work, you got so much stuff.
Oh,
back.
not the PTO. Yeah, it is. No,
Yeah,
you can roll
vacation
over your
time.
PTO.
Well,
You can roll
some
over your
companies won't
PTO,
let
but
you
your vacation, you have to, at my job, you have to use it or they'll, at the end of the year, they'll just give you the money for however many hours you had for vacation time.
They make you
That's
feel
left.
guilty taking your time. Oh, you have this, you
Huh?
have that. And they make you feel guilty.
Yes, they do.
Yep, guilty to be able to rest and just enjoy your time.
Oh, I'm not feeling guilty about
Me
it.
either.
I'm just
Yeah,
taking
do not feel
vacation.
guilty about it. Take that time, you've earned it. It's like
Yeah.
take that time, because also too what the society does as well is they don't want you to have leisure time, because if you have leisure time, and we all saw this during COVID when everything was shut down, it gives you a chance to be able to stop and think and actually reflect over your life. Because when you are, I like to call it busyness. So when your day is filled with nothing but busyness, you don't have time to stop and think, wait a second, does this make sense? Why am I running all over the place? Why am I not stopping and resting? Because I have been doing something actually enjoyable with my time instead of just filling my day up.
And during COVID, I worked the whole time. I had
Mhm.
no time off. They don't give us time off, and you get penalized for taking it. Because I got points already for taking a day off.
Yep.
But that's how they do.
And
That,
how fair is that?
it's
To
not.
get
But
penalized for using time that they gave you as time off. That's not right. But they
well,
do it.
the point of the matter was that I had gotten sick, and they took, while I was off in 2 weeks, they took all of my personal time, my PTO. And I needed a PTO day because of the weather. It was so icy. It was like we were in the midst of a mini ice storm. And I ended up getting points for that because I took it off and didn't have time, because they don't give you that much time anyway.
That's true.
Because your employer believes that, hey, I have you for a set amount of time. You said that we have agreed this is a set amount of time you'll be here working, which is could be like 8 hours, 12 hours. So they feel like if you're taking PTO, even though technically that is a benefit you've earned, they still see it as I still technically control your time because you're an employee of mine.
Exactly. That's
Exactly.
exactly how they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go into Parkinson's law, which means work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So I think a few people have dealt with this before. I'll give an example, and then you guys can tell me some examples that you know of. So let's say you're working a white collar job and you have email, and your whole goal is, hey, I got to make sure that my inbox always stays at 0. What happens when you're done with zeroing out your whole inbox? You get a moment to breathe, and then suddenly you hear the ping noise that says that you got another email. So now you're distracted and pulled away to keep answering more email. But here's the problem. If you're very efficient at answering your email, don't you notice that apparently a lot more people will start emailing you out of nowhere because they now know, oh, wait, you're always available. So let me send you this message that's probably not that urgent, but I know that you'll do it for me. Does anybody have any instances of work that expands as soon as you finish it? Are you
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every day. That's me.
They don't even give
Every-
us time to finish it. They
every-
be sending us messages.
I
We
had
need
to
somebody to do such and such.
I had to actually literally give a rundown of my everyday so I can be transparent to my manager and director and invited them to shadow me for a day. Have that happened? No. Because I want you to understand exactly what it is that you have put on my plate constantly. So because you got this on my plate over here, this over here is lacking. So guess what? More work is not being the quality work that needs to get done in a timely fashion is gone under. Uh, Neither one of them, none of them have yet to come in there. I had one manager, I'll come in here, I'm coming in, I'm gonna shout at you. I said, okay, you're more than welcome to. I want you to see exactly how this is running. And I'm the only one that has actually trained two other people while the other work is being going on.
Yep. Yep. That's how it works.
That's how it works. So, as we were previously discussing, making a reasonable demands on your time. So, time is, you only have so much time in the day. You can't just be able to take on additional work and somehow somehow be able to complete that work by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares Yahuwah. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give hope and a future. So this comes back to what we were discussing in our last class and then also to this one. When we plan, the Most High likes to laugh at us because he already has plans for us. He's already knows where technically the goalposts are, what the objectives are, what you're supposed to complete. And just as in like our previous classes of developing finding your talents, developing your talents, finding your purpose, and also too with our guest teacher, Red, going into cognitive elevation on different styles of learning. As when you start going down the path you're supposed to be going, when you start developing the talents that are inherent to you and building onto that, your purpose shows yourself. And then through that purpose, you find out the Most High's plans, or at least a bit of his plans. He doesn't give you all of it because it will overwhelm you. And you walk down that path to be able to complete it. So being worried about tomorrow and not being able to enjoy today, that is just, I'll just say it, it's evil how the society makes you feel that you need to be able to have every minute of every day be very productive and completing something and not getting to what is a real consequence of what's really going to get me closer to the goalpost instead of just spinning around a hamster wheel. So one of the things that I do recommend is approaching the day knowing that you're not going to get everything done. If you have to-do list, usually what I recommend, like I said, time management is an illusion. Go based off task orientation. Let's just say, for instance, okay, I gotta run errands today. That means I gotta get out in the car and I gotta go out and drive everywhere. Try to just make that into a task. Don't have a start time, don't have an end time. Just kind of know, okay, I know everything is open between 8 to 5. So I have to work between those constraints. But the thing about it is that, okay, if I'm out driving, let me just make sure, hey, I go to the grocery store or I go to the pet store because my dogs or cats need food. Or, okay, I need to go by the post office. Try to make it into one tasking. If you complete that task, oh, and also too, going by the bank if you need to pay bills. It's like making sure it's task oriented, not playing time orientated. And that'll keep you from having to rush everywhere because you're going based off how much time, going based off the task is going to take, how long the task takes.
Right. Exactly.
So what we come to is you have to choose. You have to choose to make time for what matters. You need to give things up. Because the thing about it is, you only have so much time in the day, the week, month, and years. If you choose to, for example, if you choose right now to go and build a business, that means you're having to give up the alternative of working a job, of being an employee, and focusing on what it takes to build a successful business. It's the same way if you choose to better your health. If you're choosing now, okay, I'm going to give up sugary snacks and processed food so that way I can start eating more fruits and vegetables to improve. Everything requires a choice. So for that, just embrace the moment and the season that you're in. And it's just like we were talking in the last class. There's a season for everything. So if this is a season for you to be an employee, do the best that you can. But if you see that, hey, employee, I can't see myself being an employee in the future, start working on the next tasking of going into entrepreneurship, of building another business. If the same thing with you see your health declining, so you guys know the next season that I'm going into is a season of abundant health. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start eating correctly. And just
There you
base
go.
it on just base it on the task. Don't just base it on the season. So base it on the task and the season, not base it on the time. So what you have is decide. So decide means to cut off. So if you go into the root word of decide, it means to cut off alternative choices and don't worry about the rest. At the beginning on here is like Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And approaching it with that, thinking, okay, all I have right now is this moment. All I have is this day right now. What can I do right now that will be of the most consequence? That will actually get me the most bang for my buck, is another way of saying it. Because that's one thing that we do when we do to-do lists. We think, oh, okay, yeah, I know I need to do dishes. I need to go outside and run errands. And then also too, I need to come back and do some work for my employer. And then after that, I got to make sure that the kids are taken care of or the dogs are taken care of. And when you truly think about that, you don't have enough time in the day to complete all that. And if you somehow did, you're sacrificing something. So you're sacrificing either sleep for yourself or being able to rest or just be able just to enjoy the time that you actually have to be able just to do what you truly want to. Because you can't do everything. It's okay. Am I going to run errands or I'm going to clean the house? I can't do both. I got to sacrifice something today for the other.
Makes sense. Otherwise, we go crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
This is why so many people in these jobs, they now have, or they've had it for a while now, but they have mental health issues because one, they're exhausted. Two, they're overwhelmed with the responsibilities of that job, especially if they're working a job. They're not working for themselves, they're working a job for someone else. It creates problems. It creates problems. And a lot of people who go through that, I know from experience, I ended up having to really take time off and go to a psychologist, a therapist, and that therapist diagnosed me with PTSD because of the job.
yeah.
And then they gave me a hard time. I had surgery. I had thyroid surgery. Couldn't talk. I could hardly talk. I was told to limit my speaking. And this lady would call me from FMLA at the job 2 to 3 times every week about when I was going back to work. She even went and contacted my supervisor and told him I was coming back on this date when I hadn't even been released from by the doctor yet. And he called me up, and when I answered the phone, I could hardly talk. And he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm a little bit better, but I still have to limit my talking. If I didn't, I would have no voice. That incision wasn't going to heal. On the inside where they removed the thyroid wasn't going to heal, and it was going to affect my vocal cords." And he said, "I got a call saying you were coming back to work on Thursday." I said, "I told her I could not come back to work until my doctor released me." And he says, "Your doctor hasn't released you to come back to work." I said, "How do you expect me to come back to work? Do you hear how I sound? I can hardly talk." He says, "Yeah, I hear that." I said, "How am I supposed to come back to work when my job is talking? What am I supposed to do for 8.5 hours? I can't talk that long. I couldn't, at the time, I couldn't even talk for 15 minutes. I said, "No, when my doctor releases me, that's when I'm coming back to work." And she was aware of that. Why she told you I was coming back on such and such date, I don't know. But that's not what I told her. And my doctor didn't tell her that either.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that you have to also learn too is that remind me of my time is also to, okay, am I choosing my job or am I choosing my life? Because eventually it might have to come to that type of decision. And I've been in that same predicament several times. And I know a lot of people probably don't know this, but I actually have left. And I even said, this is my last time working a job. I'm pretty much deciding, so cutting off all other alternatives. And either I'm going to walk on water or I will drown trying.
Exactly. Exactly. So I really thought at first when I got laid off, I thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to make my mortgage payment. How am I going to pay these utility bills? I can do only so much with the little bit of severance they gave me. That'll only last for so long, but I got to be able to pay my bills. And I said, and I was praying about it. And finally, I just said, you know what? After even trying to find another job, and I said, I've been looking for these many months and I can't find nothing. And these are jobs, I'm applying for jobs that I am qualified for. And some of them I was overqualified for. And some of them I was actually qualified to supervise those jobs. But my last straw, I think, was when I had applied to the mortgage company I was under at the time. I applied there because a supervisor I had worked under, she put me in for this particular job. And she said, you contact them, get your resume in, and this is what I want you to do. I said, okay. So I did what she said. And I was glad I didn't get the job because one, I didn't want that job, that drive. It was for me to get to that job, it was gonna take me an hour and a half one way. I said, no, I'm not driving that far. And so they didn't give me the job. They said they did. They even had nerve to put it on my credit report that I was hired when I wasn't. They had to take that off because they never hired me. And so I was really relieved I didn't get the job. And I said, I'm done. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm done. And I just started praying about it. And I said, Father, I have to have a roof over my head. You said you supply my needs according to your riches and glory. And I'm standing on that because you said it. And I stood on that. And my Moray, he came to me one day, he said, sis, how are you keeping your house? I said, the Most High is taking care of that for me. He said, what? I said, he's taking care of that for me. All my bills are paid on time. And he said, oh, okay. He said, okay, I feel you. I really understand that. I said, he said he would supply my needs. So I went to him and I told him, this is what I need. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to maintain and be somewhat comfortable. Now, what that looks like, that's up to you. That's not up to me. And I went on from there. And I can guarantee you that I ain't had one late payment on nothing. Nothing.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
That's how now that's my testimony. That's how he worked it for me. And I said, okay.
Yep, that's one thing that everybody that goes through this walk learns is that once you have thrown away that you have absolutely no control and just follow your faith into Him, into the Most High, everything just starts working out fine. He already says He got you, and that same thing is me as well, where I was finally like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to look for a job anymore. I'm going to do this business. I'm going to pretty much I said, Most High, you said you got me and that everything that I need to be able to accomplish this will be supplied. And every
Everything was supplied.
supplied. I'm like,
Yeah.
still just
Cause
comes
I'm
out
gonna tell you,
to wait.
I'm gonna tell you,
I'm like,
when I got laid off,
girl,
10 days later, somebody hit me and totaled my vehicle. And my vehicle was paid off. I was a year and a half waiting to get another vehicle.
Yeah.
I had to go through that. And it was nerve-wracking. But you know what? This is how good the Most High is. Not only did he provide me with another vehicle, he done paid that one off. He paid it off.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And I never
Glory
missed a
be to
payment.
God.
Never missed a payment. Not one payment did I miss on that vehicle. Not one. And I called them up and I said, hey, I want to pay this off. What's my payoff? And they told me, I said, okay. If I pay it off on this date, what's my payoff? And they told me, I said, okay. I paid it off and I was happy. And I have that vehicle right now today. And he just keeps making a way for me. He keeps making a way for me. And not only did he pay off my vehicle, he made sure my mortgage was on time every month. What can I say? What more can I say? This
Yeah.
is how he operates.
Yeah. I can testify to that.
just
Mhm.
walk on faith and He'll take care of you. So remind me of my time. It's one of those things. Do I want to still keep working at a job that's, I would say, it sucks the life out of me and brings me no joy that I'm beholden to and I'm unable to enjoy my friends, my family, your life basically? Or do you want to go out on that limb? Do you want to actually start walking on the water and be like, Most High, you said you got me. I can't, it's like, I can't live this way anymore. I'm just surrendering.
Exactly.
Illusion of time management.
And
And I'm trying to get to that
Yeah.
point right now because I need to be away from where I'm at. That job is just sucking me dry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'll tell y'all, I'm on a fixed income. And on a fixed income, The Most High paid all my bills, everything. My lights have never gone off. My water hasn't gone off. My internet hasn't gone off. I
Hallelujah.
can't complain. I can't complain. All I can do is praise.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And the thing that you have to think about, just as I was asking at the beginning, how many weeks does an average person who lives up to be about 80 live? It's 4,000 weeks. So are you trying to spend some of that 4,000 weeks at something that is soul sucking and that you have no joy or no fulfillment from? Or do you want to step out on faith and see what else there is?
I'd rather step out on faith and see what else there is.
Yeah. So that's my challenge to you. You all and everyone here. You all technically, depending on some of our ages, some of that 4,000 weeks on average for being up to 80 years old is already gone. So I know
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
technically based off that math, I'm almost at the halfway point. So it's like 2,000. And let's just be truthfully honest, tomorrow is not guaranteed that I want to at least in this moment, in this day, enjoy life. You shouldn't be, as I've heard from somebody say, wishing your time away. You shouldn't be at work on Monday or Tuesday wishing and praying and for Friday to appear. So that way you can have a break. That's literally just wishing your time away. Instead of wishing your time away, instead change the way you're spending your time so that way you can actually enjoy it. And instead of being like, oh, it's Tuesday, I can't wait till it's Friday. Instead of it's Tuesday, I'm actually enjoying today. Instead of wishing it was a different day. So that's my challenge.
Exactly.
So I find that leisure time to actually think and reflect on that. Just ask the Most High, remind me of my time. So that way you truly spend it on something that is worthwhile and not something that is just soul sucking.
Because believe me, my job is definitely soul sucking. It definitely is.
Yep. But just make that
And I'm
number
fed
that
up.
people actually think on that and reflect on it. Do I want to keep on doing this day in and day out and just wake up in the morning dreading it, or even going to bed dreading waking up in the morning? What do they call it? Because they Sunday, they call it the Sunday blues because, oh man, I got to go
Yes.
work tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. And I hate absolutely.
And here's the thing, ever since I've stepped out on that, I don't have that anymore. I don't have Sunday blues. I see this as, hey, I have this day and I'm enjoying it. I had yesterday, I enjoyed it. And if I'm blessed to see tomorrow, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't have that
Wow.
feeling anymore. That's what walking out on faith, that's what reminding me of my time is. Because that's one of the things that caused me to be reminded of my time is when my health declined greatly 4 years ago. And I came to the realization, you know what? I don't want to go back to that. Because back then, no, I would have regretted how I had spent that time if that was my time to go. And let's be honest, nobody's on their deathbed saying, I wished I worked more at work.
No, definitely not. My job no better than to call me and ask me to work any overtime because I won't answer the phone. And they would stop me while I was there and ask me about working overtime, and I tell them no. I haven't worked any overtime in I don't know how long, years. But I really need to get away from that job. And this is gonna put me in mind of all those promises that the Most High made. And I'm asking to make it where I can get on up out of there. I want to be gone from there this year. So I'm just gonna pray about it and give it over to him.
Make a way. Does anybody
Take
else?
away from me.
Oh my, sorry. Does anybody else have anything to add? Nope. So nope, that's
Nope.
my challenge for you. Don't try to get your to-do list completed in one day. Try to find some leisure time for yourself. And that's the question. Most High, remind me of my time and how's the best way to actually enjoy that time.
Oh, when you do step out to try to do something, don't think it's going to start off easy. It's going to be hard, but the enemy will test your faith. It's not the most
Yeah,
high
he's
test. You
doing
know
that.
what you can do, but he's going to
Yeah,
test your faith and your willingness to go through. And you just have to be like, whatever happened. And when it get bad, you just repeat those promises and just wait because it will work out. That's all I got. Thank you.
You don't follow through, you'll never know the end. That's where I am now. I started working at 12 years old, pressing shirts in the cleaners. And now I look back and I'm thankful. I've always had a job and I look back now, but I realized I gave them, these companies, my time and my life when I should have been putting it toward my own business or for me. So don't wait till you get older and because if something happened to you, they're just gonna roll you over and put another person in your chair, and that's gonna be it. They really don't care. And it's a blessing to be able to retire or not work for them and have your own. And
that's what I'm working towards right now.
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
working
literally.
That's the sacrifice. That's what you have to decide on is, oh, if I give up this job and start pursuing my own business, that means I have to make sure, hey, I'm not going to be able to buy a fancy new car every 3 years, or I'm not going to be able to buy the latest iPhone. But then you have to think, is my time is a resource you can't get back. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. So how do you want to actually
Right.
spend that time that you have?
Yeah. Yep. You're right. You're right. Because I remember when my sister was going through that, and she went through a hard time, real rough time. And I felt bad because I couldn't help her. There was nothing I could do to really help her. And I just said, Father, I got to get into some kind of position where I can help my family when they need help. And I did what I could do. Let's just put it that way. I did what I could do. And then she's doing better than me, and she's full retired. She's fully retired, and I need to be, but I'm still working a full-time job that I hate. So yeah,
Yeah. But that's my challenge to all of you. Sometime this week, somehow make at least a little bit of time to actually be able to reflect on that and think on, is this really what I want to spend my time on? And if you come
Yeah.
to decisions such as, I don't want to be working the soul sucking job anymore, there's options. There's always a choice to be made. So sometimes it's just not the one you want to make, but it's probably the one you have to make.